job interview or asking for a raise, our first instinct many times is to lay out as much as possible to make a strong case for ourselves. But this is often a big mistake. Fontini Economopoulos joins us now live. She's a negotiation expert and the author of Say Less, Get More. Fontini, thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, say less, get more. Let's start with one of your phrases here. A lot of people want to go in and say, I want more. Big mistake?
Yeah, and the reason is I want you to be specific. More is some random number out there. More could be $1 more. It could be $100 more. So when it comes to negotiation, you want to be really specific so you don't have to ramble later and fill in some of those very awkward silences.
Okay, good point. So specificity is important. Also, I like what you say here, I think. Don't say I think. Some of the people that you've worked with in Fortune 500 companies, they don't think, they know.
Yes, absolutely. So I think signals, this is my opinion. And when you signal that, then I can give you my opinion too. And now if we're both giving opinions, we're actually just arguing. But a great negotiator knows they don't think. They've done their research. They're well prepared. They know what value they bring to the table as well. So it's important to use language that reflects that.
And that might be a hard hurdle for some people because they might not want to be too aggressive. But this is one of the cases where you have to be aggressive enough and say, I deserve this.
I like to think of it as being assertive instead of being aggressive, because I know for people who are in marginalized groups, being aggressive could be seen as a really negative thing. But if you know your stuff, if you're speaking objectively, if you've done your research and you can speak to that credibly and go, based on my research, based on my experience, based on what the market is paying right now, then you can be quite assertive in bringing that forward. And you're not being, banging your fist on the table and going, you must give me this. That's not, in my books, that's not aggressive.
Let's also talk about threatening to go to the competition. This is never a good look, right?
Threatening is a really dangerous tactic in negotiation. It's kind of like telling your romantic partner, well, if you don't treat me well, I'm going to go to an ex-boyfriend or an ex-girlfriend. That's also not going to work all that well. So it can be done. You can leverage the fact that other people are interested in you, but it's got to be done carefully. I like to put a positive spin on it and go, what can we do to make this sustainable? What can we do to make sure that I am not being, teased by some of these other things that are coming my way? And then the focus is still on the person at hand and saying, I'm trying to work with you versus if you don't work with me, I'm going to go somewhere else.
And again, it puts you in a position of being wanted and not looking like you're basically a jerk wanting to go elsewhere. Let's also talk about the thanks anyway. This is an interesting one.
Yeah, for me, when you're going to get a no at some point, I mean, that's inevitable. Right. If you're not getting a no at some point, you're probably not negotiating very well. So the key for me is to make sure that no is the start of the negotiation, not the end. When we hear a no, it's very tempting to go, okay, well, thanks anyway. But that's where I want you to go ask a question. If it's not now, then when? If they say we can't do that right now, when is the right time for us to do that? If we can't give you that much, well, how much can you give me? By asking those questions, you're setting yourself up not only for this negotiation, but for future negotiations that may happen with them as well.
This all puts you in a position to look your best when you need to the most. Asking for a raise or getting a new job might be uncomfortable, but these are the things you need to be thinking about. Fontini Economopoulos, thank you so much for joining us this morning. I love the tips and great information when we're trying to get raises. A lot of people thinking now is the time to ask for a raise. Fontini,
it's a great time to do it. Thank you so much.
Author of Say Less, Get More. Thank you.